We'll welcome our viewers who have joined us from the Washington State SoCal match. Washington State getting a 3-1 set victory against the Trojans. So a big bounce back win for them after falling to UCLA on Friday night.
Now you take a look at the numbers for Washington State. They had 4 attackers with double-digit kills, and 1 more for Jocelyn Arias would make that 5. So very, very varied offense for WSU moving the ball around.
Yeah, Magda Yahalajeva leading the way with 13 kills for the Cougs and 6 blocks. The freshman really doing some things for Gengrini on the Palouse so far this season. Bajima with another roll shot right over the top of that, blocking down.
Well, we got a chance to catch up with head coach Keegan Cook for the Huskies, and one of the things he talked about in terms of great outside attackers like Cara Bajima and like Mac May, Lexi Hadrich, Khalil Lanier, those big-time attackers, you have to have strong power down the line, down the angle, and then that last shot we saw is the off-speed. So that's what really has allowed for UCLA to get even better, as Mac May's opened up her range even more. Savvy Simo's done the same thing, and I think it's what set them apart in the last 5 or so matches.
Emily Ryan getting the kill out of the middle. They don't go to the middle often, but it certainly relieves some pressure off Mac May and Hadrich if they can. Set a bit off, so Sanders just tipping it over. And Osco tracking that one down, and the Huskies send it over. Good dig by McPherson, and now out to Bajima. Out of the middle. UCLA trying to keep it alive. What a block. The big by May was coming with some heat. And the Huskies and Sanders sending it back.
And that's one-on-one. Lauren Sanders just goes up by herself and pays attention, knows where Mac May is at all times, because she is always an attacker, regardless if she's in the front row or the back row.
Yeah, that is well done by Sanders, one of the best blockers in conference play. Serbian specialist, Maria Bogomolova. Well done by Simo. Trying to get the back line, and the dive by Crenshaw can't keep it alive.
That's just the high wrist snap from Simo back down the line. And honestly, the Huskies defend that right back corner probably better than a lot of teams in the Pac-12. Crenshaw does a nice job usually getting over there, as well as Cara Bajima, but that time just too quick of a snap from Savvy Simo.
Washington with a 2-point lead. They're hitting 364. UCLA hitting 259. Service error by Devin Chang, the 5 after the first time out. This is what is on the line here today. UCLA alone in second place at 8-3, but Washington just a game behind at 7-4. And if you look over, it's not the number of wins that's important at this time of year, it's the number of losses. And Stanford with 2, UCLA with 3, and then 4 other teams with 4 losses. It is still to be determined who's going to win this conference. Outside, 2 Huskies kind of dive to the ground and keep it alive. And back to Drexel. Big swing sent back. And again, Hadrich sent back twice. This time Simo. And Drexel terminates.
I love how aggressive the Huskies are being, not just with their attack, but with their block, because they're constantly sending the ball back. They're also not surprised right now by UCLA's backcourt defense. UCLA is digging ball after ball, and Washington is not surprised. They still are putting the pressure on.
Mac May just going to have to send this one over. And in the middle, they go to Neefs.
And there's the one-on-one opportunity for Nice out of the middle. If they can stay in system and find that quick swing, they're going to have a lot of short angles to work with, and A.V. Nice is one of the best at using her wrist.
Out of that timeout, Washington 2 straight points, so Mike Seeley and the Bruins want to talk about that before things get away. But A.V. Nice, the 6-foot senior middle blocker, started her career as just a defensive force, but has become well-rounded.
Well, and you can see how Lexi Hadrich on that play, she starts to release, and that's what happens when you have deadly attackers on the pins. What's going to happen with that bunch read block is all of a sudden both of them, the left and right side blockers, start to peel out to the
conference. They beat each other up and test each other all Pac-12 season. And then when you get into postseason play, you see so many times the Pac-12 with teams in the Sweet 16 and the Final Four, and of course last year's national champion Stanford coming from this conference. Last year, Stanford undefeated at 20-0 in Pac-12 play. They already have 2 losses.
And again, this is another rally with a great example of Washington. They end up getting a block, ball comes back their direction, and then they are scoring points on those limited opportunities that they're getting. Nice job by Cara Bajema, kind of changing it up, going heavy down the line.
LMA Powell with the service error. Tied for Washington's lead in terms of service aces. That one falling short.
It's also important to note in terms of total team blocks for Washington, they're only at 2 on the stat sheet, but how many have we seen actually blocked and then recycled by UCLA's defense?
Ooh, heavy hit by Bajema, but the defense there for the Bruins. But this time they go to the middle to Nice and she connects.
I mean, wow, what a dig, though, from Savvy Simo to be able to take the pace off that ball from Cara Bajema. My goodness.
One of the hardest hit balls we've seen so far in this one. And now an ace by Bajema. That thing just dropped down to the floor.
You talk about the ball dropping, and that's exactly what happens. That's why you try and hit that float serve so that it can just die right before. That time it actually lifts up and pushes the serve receiver backwards.
McMay lifting up on that one, but dug by the Husky defense. Bruin block, sending it back. Another really pretty dig by Simo, kept alive off the scoreboard again. So Drexel well off the net. And May gets roofed.
That is
that match you can lose.
You have to show up every single night. And I mean, so many times we talk about, well, maybe one team matches up better against another. And there is that concept for sure. But I still think that everyone talks about the Pac-12 and the losses and the upsets. And I'm looking at 1 through 6. And I think Keegan Cook would echo this sentiment and say the exact same thing, that it's just so good from top to bottom. And every single time you face somebody, you got to bring your A game.
Well, the Pac-12 conference right now, the RPI numbers, 9 teams in the top 50, which means maybe 9 teams on pace to be in the tournament. And right out of the timeout, Drexel and Nice combining for another block.
They're getting right in front of McMay and sealing off not only that sharp angle, but also the low seam.
He said they want to try to block angle and dig line, and it's been effective here in set 1. Pretty tool of the block there.
And that might be the place that I try and find if I am Kaylee Thompson. Try and find your right side attack against Shannon Crenshaw. She's a little bit, I mean, she's not by any means undersized, but when Samantha Drexel's on the other side and continuing to block balls, you got to find another way to be effective with your offense.
Service error by Mari Hinkle sends a point to Washington's way, and it is set point. 24-14, UW coming ready to play in this one. The crowd on their feet, and a nice crowd out here in Alaska Airlines Arena on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. May with some power and no touch. So the Washington Huskies dominate in set 1 here on their home floor. They win 25-14.
It'll be interesting to see what she does into this second set now that the Huskies have slowed down her angle attack.
She got blocked a few times against Washington State on Friday, and it almost seemed like it made her angry, and she came out on fire the rest of that match. 20 kills in the sweep. As we mentioned with McMay, the reigning National Player of the Week after the Bruins able to sweep Stanford and get Cal, the 15th ranked team in America, 3-1 last weekend. An impressive win in Pullman. A sweep of the Cougars on Friday night, and they were playing high-level volleyball coming into this one. So a big set one for the Dogs, and they started off with a Drexel hammer.
The Huskies sticking with that scouting report, really wanting to utilize the right side attack. Samantha Drexel started off very strong in the first set. She still has not made an error, hitting 571.
And she's back at the service line for the Dogs. In the middle they go. And Emily Ryan, 6-foot redshirt sophomore out of Bethesda, Maryland, with the kill.
Well, and they'll use Emily Ryan a little bit more than their other middle attacker, Sabrina Smith, in terms of when they go to her. And as there's kind of a difference between being an attacking middle and a defensive middle. So one usually takes more swings than the other, and one's more of a blocking type middle. She's the attacker.
Some good defense so far in this rally, but the net violation for UCLA gives a point to the Dogs. That one's got to be frustrating, as the Bruins had a couple of nice digs to keep this rally alive.
Well, that's always one of the most frustrating things, is the net violation after a big-time dig, especially on a one-on-one opportunity.
Thompson tracking that one down. Pretty one-handed stab by McPherson. The overpass, though, by the Dogs after that, and UCLA cashes in.
That's incredible reaction time from Shane McPherson with the left-handed dig. That's her offhand, too, to be able to control the pace of that ball. I know they didn't end up winning the point, but that contact was something else.
Shane McPherson trying for a bounce-back match. Struggled a bit down the stretch versus SC on Friday. And so far playing really well here against the Bruins. Bajema with the touch and the kill.
And I like this swing from Cara Bajema, just going up, finding the edges of the block. A lot of times, if it's a closed block, you want to try and attack the left or right side edge.
Bajema 4th in the Pac-12, over 4 kills per set. She has been the Pac-12 Player of the Week 3 times already this season, 3 times in a row. Bumps that out to Simo. And Osco there. Bajema goes tip and gets it. She's really had some good decisions in this match.
Well, the true test of an outside is, what do they look like taking out-of-system swings? And Cara Bajema right now is doing a nice job taking care of the ball. That wasn't the perfect set because they were out of system, but she still finds a way to not only keep the ball in play, but also score a point on that left side.
And an ace by Maria Bogomolova.
UCLA's serve receive is struggling a little bit right now. And actually, they've been going at Kelly Berry in the serve receive, so they're going at the libero.
It's the 16th ace of the season for the Russian native. In the middle. They've had really high efficiency when they've gone to the middle. To Ryan, and that time to Sabrina Smith.
And of course, as soon as I say Sabrina usually blocks more than she attacks, she gets a really nice swing. And that's even better, the fact that she had a double block in front of her and she still goes a little bit of the cut back to the right side. Nice swing by her.
Mike Seeley has talked about the inexperience, that he's got some real talent in the middle. They're just raw, but they've been coming along and they've gone to them more as this season has progressed. And that was a good swing from Smith. Simo with a good approach and the kill.
That's the second time Simo scored on that shot. She had one early in the first as well. So if she gets into trouble, a little bit out of system, she likes that high chop shot, crossbody back to the line. And the nice thing with that is, instead of putting a loop on it, she actually puts enough pace that it's beating Shannon Crenshaw to that right back corner.
Well placed. And she's leading the Bruins. That's her 5th kill. And the Bruins with back-to-back points to tie things up. The Huskies ran away with things in set 1. 25-14 was the set 1 victory score. And they jumped out on top here in set 2, but the Bruins have battled back to tie things up. These two teams met back in early October, and the Washington Huskies got the win in LA. And they have beaten UCLA 9 of the last 10 times. UCLA won here in Alaska Airlines Arena last season, breaking a 15-match losing streak in Seattle. Oh, that was powerful stuff from Nice.
I love that. That's the back one or the A call for Avi Nice in that serve-receive rotation, just changing up the location of where she's attacking. I mentioned gaps and a block, and that's one way to get away from the middle blocker on the other side. Attack the gap between the middle blocker and the left side blocker.
Hadrich, too much on that one. The hitting error, and the Dogs with 2 straight points. Hadrich hitting .500 before that swing. 3 kills on 7 swings. Ooh, that was pretty. Hitting the back line.
Well, and I was just about to say, and watch for them to go to her here, because in that rotation, it's the only rotation she actually hits out of the left side. They will go to her on just about every single opportunity. She actually was an outside back in high school, so she's very comfortable over there. She's made the switch to right side. And Mike Seeley said, hey, she's just gotten better and better. She's starting to get way more comfortable over there.
Just a redshirt freshman, but extremely talented. The overpass. UCLA can't cash in. Can Badgemite? Yes, and a net violation.
And Washington, again, even though Tara Badgema's on the right side, she's typically an outside. Kind of insane to see her take the swing. They're trying to attack the block of Mac May.
A missed opportunity there for Smith. She had a overpass. She couldn't throw it down. They'll go to her again in the middle. Drexel with a tip. The Huskies have had a lot of success with the tip and the roll shot so far.
Well, and that's what a well-disguised tip can do. If you're going up taking big swings and then all of a sudden you're still coming in at 100% effort and pace with your approach, slowing down that arm right at the last second, it's so hard to have to defend against.
Ooh, Mac May with a big. Handled and slowed down by Washington's block. Drexel. Good dig there by Chang. And a roof. The Husky defense coming up big again. Their 5th block of the match.
That is a massive Husky block. Lexi Hadrich tried to hit that ball straight down. She was starting to feel it a little bit. And my goodness, what a block from the Huskies.
They are big today. They are limiting.
From Shannon Crenshaw, they're sealing off the seam between the 2 blockers, as well as taking away some of the sharp cross-court angles for the attack of the Bruins.
So the Huskies with a 10-6 advantage. Big swing by May, but it's wide.
Well, and there was a shift there in the block actually from Washington too. They actually adjusted just about another 6 inches to a foot out to the line, with that ball being pushed all the way to the antenna. Trying to take away the line actually of Mac May.
Drexel. That is some velocity.
And then you look on the other side, and UCLA struggling a little bit with their block. It's kind of disjointed. So you've got Sabrina Smith getting over there, but there's a big gap to work with, and that's forcing Mac May to try and make some plays with her hands as a blocker.
Looking for the line, but instead that one is wide for the service error.
It's interesting too. Washington's been going at Kelly Berry practically almost every ball in serve receive, the libero.
And she rotates out here for Hinkle to come in to serve. Hinkle, the 5'9" freshman out of Rosemont, Minnesota. Shannon Crenshaw hangs in the air, but a nice block there from UCLA. And the ball last touch by the Dogs.
That can definitely help in terms of building momentum. Blocking is one of the best ways in order to do that. So nice job by Lexi Hadrich, pushing those hands all the way over and asserting herself as a blocker.
The back is Badgema. Now May. Well, and LMA Powell can't handle it.
There's the chip shot down the line, right? So it's that adjustment into the second set. She wasn't scoring points into the angle. We just saw her have an error out the angle as well. So now she's trying to chop it back.
And 2 straight points for UCLA. Drexel, the hitting error, never went across the net. And so Keegan Cook wants to stop the run. And hitting error on Mac May. He was looking for that back line.
Mac May still sitting in the negatives right now. Just 3 kills in 2 sets, 6 errors on 14 attempts.
Just long for Shane McPherson. Yeah, Mac May has been dominant. She has had the best matches of her career statistically versus the Huskies. 29 kills earlier this year, although Washington won, and 27 kills last year here in Alaska Airlines Arena.
Well, and take a look at the difference between Cal, WSU. She's got 21 and 20, and then this match already, just 3 kills.
Well, and the hitting percentage as an outside hitter, over 400 against the Cougs. Nice looking swing there from Shannon Crenshaw. She had a career high 13 kills on Friday versus SC, but didn't get the win. But Keegan Cook said she is such a hard worker, and he hopes that's a breakthrough moment for her. Huskies a 3-point lead, and the Drexel serve. In the middle, Badgema there. Out to Crenshaw, and she tools the block for back-to-back kills.
We talk about breakthroughs, and there's the aggressive swing from Shannon Crenshaw. But what really stood out to me in their match against USC, even though it was a loss, was the defense of Shannon Crenshaw. Every ball that came her direction, she was actually getting up, and she's one of the best serve receivers on the floor at any given time as well.
Big swing. Drexel dives to save that one. And now Crenshaw with the left-hand tip. And the Bruin defense holds. Crenshaw with a touch. What a dive by Simo. And the kill. Well done by the Bruin defense. Wow.
I have no idea how savvy Simo just got this ball. This is called turning and running. So often you'll just backpedal backwards if a ball's high and over the top of your head. And you know what, guys? That's her beach play right there. She's so used to having to turn and chase a ball. So nice job by Simo. They're zoomed in on the screens down there.
Well done by the fans behind the scorer's table. They got their rabbit ears on. They picked it up. They knew before we did that the call had been reversed. And so a big swing there. Now a 5-point Washington advantage after an excellent defensive play by the Bruins. Oh, hanging in the air and sent back. And another net violation.
And the Husky bench loves that one. LMA Powell's trying not to smile too big. She's like, hey, you got to play it cool. That was just a solo block by myself, shoved back. That's a big-time play from the setter.
You know, as a setter, when you get a solo block, you got to have an extra fist pump, right?
Oh, yeah, but she was trying to keep her smile down, and she gets another one.
Another big block, this time kept alive. The cover there for UCLA. Can they do it again? They get the touch. And they cash in. They go slide to Sanders, and she tools it for the Husky point. Everything going Washington's way right now.
Everybody's looking at LMA Powell and Lauren Sanders because there were 3 back-to-back-to-back blocks with a 4th block touch that allowed for the offensive opportunity.
How much does that eventually get into your head?
Oh, that's frustrating.
And an ace. It was all Huskies in set 1, a 25-14 win, and now with an 8-point advantage against the red-hot UCLA Bruins. This team making it into the top 25 last week. They go back to May and a roof. May hung in the air, and Washington was up right with her.
Shannon Crenshaw and LMA Powell as pin blockers are playing out of their mind right now in terms of their blocking, their technicality, closing down the line.
Impressive stuff. Husky defense right now is playing at such a high level. The crowd loving it.
This has just become a blocking clinic from left to right. Again, great setup by the pin, and then Lauren Sanders just closing the middle of the court down.
And some emotion coming from the junior, and that one is wide. So a run, a flurry of Washington points. They're on an epic run here in set 2, led by the block. UCLA out of system, just has to send it over. They go to Crenshaw, another beautiful attempt by Simo, but not enough lift, and it's another Washington kill.
Crenshaw's starting to take some swings that are just that upper echelon of outside attackers right now. She's really starting to feel her oats. You can see the confidence building in some of those swings.
He said Shannon Crenshaw over the net that time.
She's a little too eager on that tight pass.
Which there's worse things. You take that once in a while.
You got to watch out for crafty setters, though. Because you can guarantee Kaylee Thompson was baiting into that. You're like, yep, I know you're there. I'm going to set this ball straight into your hands.
Oh, nice done. The attack from Powell on the second touch goes down, and we are at set point. A great crowd on their feet here on a Sunday afternoon up to the upper rafters here in Alaska Airlines Arena. They go middle, and success.
And I like that decision by Kaylee Thompson. She got pushed back to the right side a little bit more, which meant there was more opportunity for that crossbody swing from the middle attack. A lot of times if you run that straight out of the middle, there's not a ton of room to work with from you to the sideline. So nice choice there.
They've had good success out of the middle today. I don't remember too many errors.
There was one just about a point ago, but that's about it.
They've had some success. For Kelly Berry with the serve and the ace. But they have a gigantic hole to climb out of. But if anything, they'd like to go, when this set is concluded, with a little momentum in their backhand, because Washington has dominated the first 2 sets so far. Simo slowed down by the Husky block. And now out to Bajima. And the free ball sent over by Simo, and on the slide to Sanders. And that one is on the line and killed. The Huskies with a commanding 2-0 in Pullman. Finituso with 12 kills and 13 digs for the double-double. And Stanford 2-0, a lead over the Oregon Ducks. And so we are underway here in set 3. What kind of adjustments do you expect UCLA to try to make here to get back in this one?
Well, they were out of system pretty frequently in that second set, so watch for them to try and make some serve-receive adjustments. Their defense has been pretty good in the backcourt. Can they start to slow down the Huskies' offense up at the net using their block? So serve-receive and then trying to slow down some of the attack of UW.
Shannon Crenshaw with the kill, playing so well in this one, leading the Huskies in kills with 7 so far. She's coming off a career high of 13 kills against SC. So for her, Keegan Cook hoping that the confidence that she would get from that would carry over, and certainly it looks like it has so far. She's hitting .429 in this match. And that one is wide, and it looks like Carbajamo was not there in time, and so that will be a Husky point, no touch.
You had 2 Husky defenders trying to make a play on that ball. Both of them kind of got juked out a little bit, and then they got lucky with the ball being out of bounds.
Carbajamo would have attempted to get that up, I think, if she could have slid over there in time, but instead, like today, everything going the Huskies' way, and now an ace.
Well, again, there's that serve receive for the Bruins, really struggling to get in system.
And the Huskies are the best serving team in conference play. They have more aces than any other team, and they have looked really good today versus the Bruins. Oh, big kill there. Maybe that'll get them going. Lexi Hadrich, impressive.
And again, that's Lexi Hadrich in that rotation. She's on the left side. If you're Washington, you're starting to send blockers over there, which is exactly what they did, but an even better play from Hadrich finding the deep swing into the corner.
Yeah, Coach Seeley talked about how now she's just getting so high and still able to hit it hard. You saw it on that one. A free ball sent over by Badgema. In system now and hitting high hands.
But see, that's the difference. She was blocked, I think, just once, maybe twice in the second set. And one of those was because she was hitting down at the block. She was trying to crush the ball straight into the middle of the floor. Last two swings she's taken are high and deep into the court, where she's working off high hands and finding some points back there.
So maybe that's the adjustment UCLA will try to make. Oh, a big time swing from Crenshaw. Well done. He comes to Washington all the way from Longwood, Florida, and had some time last year as a freshman, but has been inserted now into the starting lineup with the loss of Claire Hoffman, who has been out with injury and really starting to find her groove. On the slide to Sanders. Nice dig by Simo. And then May with the roll shot and a net violation will give the Bruins the point.
Well, and that's some defensive play by the Bruins. That's clutch, especially against the one-on-one slide attack from Lauren Sanders against Mac May. They shifted their defense the opposite direction, which ended up giving them another opportunity to score that swing.
Powell to Badgema. Hits the block end down for the kill.
Emily Ryan just kind of falling off the net a little bit too much, ends up getting tooled between herself and the net.
That's the 8th kill of the match for Badgema to tie with Crenshaw for team high honors. Also match high honors. Mac May right now with just 4 kills, 7 errors on 16 swings, still hitting negative. And almost an ace. Instead, Mac May will get a good looking swing. And the defense holds. Pretty dig by Barry. And then the finish from Hadrich.
As much as we're taking a look at all the swings from both of these teams and the big arms, the big pins that we're seeing, the backcourt defense for both the Bruins and the Huskies has been pretty unstoppable throughout this match. So even if their block isn't there, a lot of the times the backcourt defenders are picking up the slack.
Washington has only 1 sweep in conference play this season. They've not been a team that has been able to consistently rip through an opponent. Their only sweep coming against the Beavers. And the joust won by the Huskies. And again, 2-on-1 on that one.
And I was going to say again, the defense of UCLA in the backcourt, impressive. Sabi Simo chasing that ball all the way to the line off the line shot of Cara Badgema, but then they can't convert it into an offense.
8 blocks for Washington now. Looking for hands and the touch. And Moser gets it.
UCLA is having to shift their offensive adjustment to, hey, we're going to swing high hands. We're going to swing deep because Washington is closing down a lot of the low seams and reaching very aggressively over the net.
May trying to tie things up here in Seattle here in set 3. A block from UCLA sending it back. You go to Drexel again. And the roof by the Bruins defense. That is their 3rd block of this game.
Well, and you asked me at the beginning of this set, what was some of the differences that UCLA needed to see? It was serve, receive, and blocking. Can they start to slow down and just get in front of the Husky attackers? Right now, that's the difference in the 3rd set.
They go at Badgema. And then she gets Ruth. Back-to-back defensive plays by the Bruins. And now UCLA with the lead here in set 3. So Mac May spinning the ball on the taped fingers.
Watch for Washington to use their right side attack. Kara Bajma here. Well, and it's out of bounds.
That's a whole lot easier for the Huskies. You just take the service error and say, we'll save that for another time. Oh, too much power from May on the serve, sends it long, and now Bajma. And they exchange service errors. Two of the best servers in the conference going for it and missing. So now Emily Ryan. And that one looked like it would be long as well, and Bajma can't get to it, and so it's an ace.
It's interesting. A lot of times if Bajma's in that right back corner, teams have attacked her serving line to line, so going from the left back corner straight at that, but they're actually going at her at the angle.
Emily Ryan, that's the first ace of the season for her. Drexel coming right back to side out for the Dogs. Out of the back is May, diving dig by McPherson. Out of the back again and sent back. I'll give it to May again. Is there a touch? No. Too much on it. So trying to go high hands, and the Huskies letting that one go.
This just goes to show how the Huskies have evolved even within this match. They started off just going solo against Mac May out of the back row. That time they had a triple block and a double block 2 different times in front of her.
They go middle with it. Had success, but a roof by the Husky defense.
How many blocks does Lauren Sanders now have?
And she's been active. I believe that is her 5th.
5th, and A.V. Nice has 4. So 9 total out of the middle. Whew.
And yet it feels like even more. And an ace. Shane McPherson, the senior libero, has started that spot for 4 seasons in a row.
That's some lib-on-lib action right there. One libero going straight at the other.
Is that what you call it? And that one just hitting the tape and falling back in for McPherson. McPherson, the 5'6" libero out of Kennedy Catholic. Averaging a career high in assists this season. She's really stepped up in terms of that second touch when Ella May Powell is involved in the dig.
And here's a shift, too, within the last few matches for the Huskies. They've also started to pull their big attacker, so Kara Bajma right now, out of the serve-receive rotation.
Oh, that's really pretty by Crenshaw. Good set and execution by the Husky offense.
See, take a look. So she's the pass attacker in this rotation, Shannon Crenshaw. So she's back in the serve-receive rotation.
Drexel goes at May.
And it's
just had success with high hands.
Exactly.
And not that time.
That's what I was about to say. As much as that looks like a miss hit, she's still trying to swing high hands because that's really all the Washington block is giving her.
So did the Washington block drop their hands, or was it just she just put too much on that?
No, they just stayed low. They're not going for the bait with the high swing. A lot of times when you've got an attacker hitting at such a high point, you want to reach up for that ball, and you just have to stay low and tight because that may be what ends up happening.
On that one, Lexi Hadrich, the body control in the air, she's hanging up there, and the set wasn't where she anticipated, and she had to go with her left hand and just drops it over the Husky block. She really just floats in the air.
So watch for the bick, potentially. There it is.
Bajma trying to redirect it around the block, and the Bruin defense there. Go to Crenshaw again. Good cover by McPherson, and then out of the back is Bajma.
You got to thank your libero on that play, just staying so tough, pushing all the way through that tipped ball up the line and gives enough of a lift on it to be able to run an offense. It's one thing to dig that ball, but it's another to be able to put something on it so your setter can move the ball around.
McPherson's had a good match so far. Nothing you could do on that one. That was pure power from May.
And that's Mac May going angle hard below the block of Lauren Sanders. Lauren Sanders reaching up a little bit higher than normal on that swing.
Yeah, hard is what that definitely was. That was crushed. There's McPherson with a nice pass to Sanders, who's blocked by May and Ryan.
Mac May showing some grit right now. Back-to-back phenomenal plays from her. The swing and then the block straight down.
She is leading this conference in kills during conference play. Almost 5%. Out to Bajema. Pure power there from the senior. And a timeout on the floor. The Huskies with a 2-point advantage. Much more competitive here in set 3 from the Bruins as they've made some adjustments. We'll be right back. I highly recommend it. About the 1936 Washington rowing team that went to the Olympics and won. You heard of that book?
Oh, yes.
You read it?
Oh, yes.
Look at you. Isn't that good?
It's a sports, you know.
It was really good.
I love it.
Yeah, really well done. Here's Bogomolova. As we are back here in set 3, Washington with a 2-0 set lead and a roof.
That's a hammer straight into a wall, brought back by Avi Neese. Her finishing moves on her block are so impressive. She does such a nice job finishing her left hand, pushing all the way back in.
She's undersized as a middle blocker, just 6 feet, but the quickness to get where she wants to, and again, but that one hammered so hard it went out of bounds for the Bruin point.
So the difference between those two blocks technically is Avi Neese was still going through that finish move. So her right hand was not completely back and around the ball, closing off that seam. Just got on a little bit quicker. And that's why you actually can change this tempo, the set's tempo too. You want to try and adjust, kind of makes the block have to figure out when to time their block.
So UCLA within 2, 16-14. And an ace. Thompson, the setter. Transferred from the University of Portland, so back in the Northwest where she started her career, just a 2.5-hour drive south of Washington's campus. They go to Bajema and Mac May with a pretty dig. They go to Neese, the tip, and May. Quick reaction to get that one up. And it hits the antenna, and that will be out of bounds for the Washington point.
Good to get out of that rotation if you're the Huskies, because that's a tough seam for them to have to deal with. It's between Crenshaw and Bajema.
LeMay Powell with a tough serve, and the hitting error by May. Off the net, out of system, and she cannot make something out of it. And so Washington now with a 3-point advantage. And an ace. Hitting the top of the tape and down for LeMay Powell, the sophomore setter out of Arkansas.
She giggled her way into that middle tunnel. Did you see that? Just laughing at
the dogs. And hits the top of that tape again, but the Bruins there, and that was a hammer. Decisive kill there for Ryan.
And again, nice job trying to get the ball to the middle. You've had some struggles on the pins with Washington closing down with their block, so you have a couple opportunities if you can get the ball to the middle.
Here's Mac May. Goes at Bajema. Simo. You can hear McPherson calling off her team from up here. Good communication, and now to Simo. A joust at the net. Pushed over. And well done. The left hand from Simo coming up to send that one down. So 2 straight Bruin points. And Washington has to be thinking in the back of their mind. They led USC 20-15 trying to close the match out and then fell apart on Friday. They lead 20-15 and 3 straight Bruin points.
The cross-court ace from Mac May. That's the longest distance on the court going angle into the deep. And add a lot of pace to that ball.
There was definitely some heat behind this one. Look at this thing. And was in the ballet there for 9 years. And I mean, you can tell just how graceful she is and how she can hang in the air. And has carried it over to the volleyball court. Those multi-sport athletes, it works. And out of the timeout, UCLA continues their run. Now 4 straight points with Mac May at the service line, looking to tie it up.
I'm really surprised they went to Drexel in this rotation. They like to go to Kara Bajma on the right side, especially with the mismatch. You've got Savvy Simo blocking the left.
Crenshaw with a nice pass up. They go to Drexel again, and she tools the block for the side out and a sigh of relief.
Well, and they were trying to limit the ball going to Kara Bajma, which is why they served to that left back corner and to the left of Shannon Crenshaw, because it would have been really hard for Ella May Powell to toss that ball behind her head in both of those serve receives.
Kelly Berry going down to get that one, and Simo gets set. They go to Drexel now on the right side. Back-to-back terminations by the junior.
Well, and there's that right side attack for Samantha Drexel. She's a little more comfortable taking that swing down the line.
Huskies now 3 points away from a sweep. Trying to close this out on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Seattle. In the middle. And Ella May Powell about 6 inches away from wearing that on her face. Looked like it went off her shoulder. She says, whoo. Let me readjust the uniform. Just about hammer that thing off. That was crushed. And so the Bruins now within 2. They go in the middle to Nice. And the senior with the kill.
Finally, a little bit more. They've been in system, but that's a perfect pass. Check this out. That allows, you see the Bruin block start to go all the way to the pin, one-on-one, and A.V. Nice just unloads.
So pretty. That time it was Moser hanging up in the air on the right side and getting the kill.
She's only had 4 kills on the night.
Now, we mentioned to start the match that UCLA needed at least 2 of their outsides to play well, if not 3. And right now, they really haven't anybody be as efficient as they need to be productive. And that's why they're right now down 2 points and in danger of getting swept. Crenshaw, have a match, kid. Crenshaw now in double figures, 3 dogs with double-digit kills. And we are at match point number 1 for the Huskies. Hadrich says not yet. Some power behind that swing.
That's power and elevation just off of her last 2 steps. She didn't have a full approach as she was trying to transition back off the net.
So match point number 2, Savvy Simo has the second most aces on UCLA's roster, and she gets another one. Still alive are the Bruins. Perfect placement from Savvy on that serve. And so timeout by Keegan Cook and the Dogs. UCLA defensively more competitive in this one. They had been beaten 25-14 against the Bruins in their 10th win in the last 11 meetings.
Watch for the Huskies to spread out their offense here. LMA Powell's in the front row. Maybe a slide and a go ball.
And Savvy Simo, an ace the last time. Badgema finishes it off. And the Huskies sweep the 25th ranked Bruins. 25-23 is your score here in set.